Jackie A.J. Owens, age 35, lived in Ocala, Florida. She was a mother, daughter, sister, aunt, cousin, and friend. She was a single mother who worked 2 to 3 jobs to care for her 4 young children. She resided in Ocala, Florida. She was a manager in the restaurant hospitality industry, a devout Christian. She had an infectious personality, a smile that would light up a room. She overloved her children. She was a devoted teen mom for her children's football and cheerleading team. According to neighbors' accounts, allegedly, AJ children, along with other kids, were playing in a public field when 58-year-old Susan Louise Lawrence began taunting and spewing racial slurs at the small children. The scared children ran away, leaving their iPad in the process, while screaming that they were going to tell their mother. Susan then picked up the iPad and took it back into her house when another child went to ask Susan could they get their iPad back. At this point, Susan allegedly threw the iPad at the child, hitting the male child in the head and cracking the screen. At this time, the children ran to tell their mother, AJ, what was going on. After being informed of the incident, AJ walked across the street to Susan's house with her children to see what was going on. At the point AJ started to knock on Susan's door, Susan fired 1 round through the door, striking AJ. AJ then ran away hollering, "Call 911," before collapsing face first to the ground. And apparently this happened around like 9 p.m.-ish at night. Several neighbors would rush to assist and perform CPR on AJ until medical personnel could arrive and take over. It was noted that AJ had 1 wound to her right upper body. She would be transported to a nearby hospital where she would succumb to her injury, leaving behind 3 to 4 children between the ages of 3 and 12 years of age. One of the neighbors reported Owen's son was yelling that his mom had been shot, as well as the perpetrator shot through her door, striking AJ. On June 6th, Susan would be arrested and charged with manslaughter, but not until after Owen's family and the community marched and protested in front of the state's attorney's office to demand an arrest, which one of the supporters were arrested during this time for alleged threats. Susan would claim to stand your ground right and states that she was in fear for her life because when she told the children before not to play in that area, which was beside her yard, that she did not own, but she felt like she didn't want anybody to play in that area, they would threaten her. So Susan says that before, when she had told people to stay from the area that, I remind you, was a public area, that they would threaten her. You ever had those neighbors who maybe it was your house, a space, and then their house, and then they felt like, I don't want nobody to play in that area, or I don't want nobody in that area. Usually a lot of time it's entitled people who ain't got nothing better else to do in their life, so they feel like they just want to start trouble elsewhere. I think it was something like one of those situations, but let's continue on with the story. However, neighbors said Susan antagonized, harassed, threatened, and hurled racial slurs at the neighborhood children all the time, which Susan would later admit to. Susan, once arrested, would be placed on suicide watch. This case is absolutely horrifying. AJ, from her pictures, seemed to be like a beautiful soul. She was only doing what any mother would have done by going to speak with a neighbor to see what was going on. But to be honest, in these days and times that we living in, you really have to test. You have to test the room or just test the atmosphere. You have to use your intuition. Everybody's not approachable. These days and times, it's better to just call the police and let them deal with it and handle the situation, because you never know what people are going through or what type of mindset people in. Like, some people are just evil. What type of evil, vindictive person would mistreat young children, calling them racial slurs? It almost seems premeditated, like she took that tablet to lure those kids over to her house. What if while blindly shooting through the door, she had hurt one of those kids instead? AJ mom started a GoFundMe when all this transpired. It is still active at this moment. I will leave the link to the GoFundMe down in the comments in case you want to donate or contribute in any kind of way to help with the raising of her kids, whether it be they get therapy, helping get justice for AJ, or whatever the case may be. If you guys get a chance, I would suggest you go and finish watching that video on The View. I noticed later on, after hearing her mom pronounce her name, that I mispronounced her name. I apologize for that. She has a very beautiful name. I said, well, I better play it safe and just call her by her nickname, which is AJ, because I'm sure I might be messing up this name. But anywho, I'm so glad for you guys to be here watching this video. For all of y'all who this is your first time getting a chance to watch this video, thank you for watching. And for everyone who's returning, thank you for returning. Y'all stay safe and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.